Good evening. My name is Stevie Payams and this is Muhammad, and we'll be your mediators for tonight. Before we get started, I would like to know what would you guys like to be called?
Alicia. Michelle.
Alicia Michelle. Alicia Michelle, thank you guys both for coming and for joining us tonight in this mediation process. Before we start and discuss what the mediation process is all about, I would like to know if either parties have been in mediation before.
You guys have never been in a mediation set? No. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that you haven't been a part of mediation before. So this will be a very different experience for both of you. I will explain to you what our process of mediation exactly is. Because, every mediator tends to have a certain way of how they handle mediation.
So to begin, we would like to explain some key principles that are established within this process. Confidentiality is first. Anything said and discussed in this room, we will not discuss outside once tonight's session is over. As a mediator, we will not take part as any witness for any processes outside of tonight's session. In regards to both parties, any new information discovered within tonight's mediation may not be used against the other outside of this mediation.
The second is party autonomy. Basically, at any time, if you feel as this whole thing is not working for either of you, you can leave. Also, at any time, you're both allowed to caucus. You guys know what that is? Basically, individually, you can come talk to one of us outside, not in front of the other party.
Right? Impartiality is another key factor. As mediators, we will not choose anyone's sides. We will not give advice or any opinions of any kind. There is no stake for us in regards to the outcome of this mediation process.
Also, just want to let you guys know, you guys can take breaks as well. At any time you want to take a little break, if it's too much, you can take a little break. Alright, and last but not least, this is an informal process. There are no rules of evidence. There's no oath taking, and this is not a trial. Both parties will each have their own time to discuss their matters and thoughts fairly.
Alright, so before we continue, I would actually like to encourage both parties to take notes while one of the other party talks and says what they have to say. So I would encourage who brought this mediation today to start.
That would be me.
Okay.
Um,
So what brought you here tonight?
so a couple weeks ago, I baked a cake for one of my really, really loyal customers. Her father was turning 65, and it was also his retirement party. Okay, so she asked me to bake a cake, and it was a $300 cake. And I had it sent out for delivery the day of, the birthday party and whatnot. And a few hours later, I get a call that the cake wasn't delivered. So I checked back in with my delivery guy, and all the paperwork was filled out correctly. But then I realized that he had sent it to the wrong place, and it was actually sent to the restaurant next door to the home. So when I contacted the owner of the restaurant, I explained to her that, the cake was delivered to the wrong spot, and I thought if we could get it back, and she explained to me that the kids had pretty much eaten the cake. And I just feel like I really don't know how to deal with this. I would go to court, but it would be more money to go to court than for her to just pay for the cake. I think she should pay for the entire cake, $300, because I don't think you should get a $300 cake for free. And then $150 for a rush job because I had to make the same exact cake over within the least amount of time possible. So I was pretty much stressed out about that. So in total, I think she should pay at least $450 for the cake and for the stress that it caused me. I understand that my driver misdelivered the cake, but I feel like she should have been responsible. And as soon as she got the cake that wasn't hers, she should have just let me know and got it delivered back instead of having her kids play around with the cake and end up eating it. So I called the court and they told me to come here for mediation. So that's all.
Alright. Anything else you would like to add? That's it.
Michelle, you can go ahead. State your side of the story.
Okay. My name is Michelle. I own a restaurant right next to a nice banquet hall. The whole day that this cake was delivered, I have a lot of errands to run. Unfortunately, I wasn't at my spot when the cake was delivered, so I had no acknowledgement of the cake. My kids, yeah, they play with the cake because they thought it was theirs. But why do I have to pay so much money for a cake that was not supposed to be for me, but it was delivered to my kids? So that's an error in your I don't know what that's called, but in your delivery status. I'm not gonna pay for that.
Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything more you would like to say?
Who paid $300 for a cake? That's all I have to say.
We both understand your concerns. So basically, you feel as if, even though the cake was delivered to her place, she should have took responsibility and called you or tried to get it back or make sure that the cake went to where it had to go.
We also understand that there's a big concern here about accountability. I feel like you guys both have that concern amongst one another. So we feel like that's something very important to discuss tonight as well.
Alicia, so you said that you feel that she should pay for the entire cake and also the cake that you made after you found out that the first cake wasn't delivered?
Well, not the cake after, it's just a rush job of the cake. So pretty much I made the cake, that was $300, but then when that cake wasn't delivered, I literally had to make that same exact cake over in 4 hours. So I want that $150 that I would usually charge for a rush job included in that cake. The $300 for the actual cake that was delivered.
So it sounds like, Michelle, it sounds like we've heard from Alicia that she feels as if she needs to be compensated for her work somehow because she really worked hard to make that cake. She feels a way. She pretty much feels like she needs.
She sort of needs like reimbursement for all of her hard work.
Correct. Yes.
Not only for the first cake, but for the second cake that she had to rush and do.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
I understand how she feels, but at the same time, she had to rush to do her cake. I, on the other hand, had millions of things to do with it. I had to rush to the hospital because my mother was ill, and then I had to make sure somebody was taking care of my 2 kids that are 9 years old and 11 years old. I had to get the dishwasher from my restaurant to go pick them up and take care of them. And then besides all that, I have to plan another birthday that I have tomorrow for one of my kids. And then I have my mother ill. I have so many things that I couldn't, I have a lot of things going on too. I can't afford this cake that isn't even supposed to be mine. It wasn't even supposed to be in my location at all. This is ridiculous.
So, hearing from what Michelle has to say, it sounds like she herself has a lot going on as well. Her main concern is, it sounds like, to our understanding, that her concern is more about she doesn't feel entitled to compensate for the cake because she also has her own personal life, where she's dealing with a lot as well. What do you have to say about that? What do you think about that, Alicia?
I mean, I understand that you have a life, but I also have a life, and my cake business is my life. So, I just feel like there should be at least some compensation. I know I don't have to get $450, but there needs to be something that can be done for, the rush job that I had to do. Because it took a lot out of me. I was actually really stressed out after I made the cake. And I didn't go into work for about 2 days. So I just feel like there should be some sort of compensation. Your kids should be reprimanded for the fact that they have no manners.
So, Alicia,
Okay.
Michelle, hearing from Alicia, it sounds like she's not more concerned about the financial part or the money, so to speak, but more concerned about her being recompensated for her work, some way, somehow. What do you think about her take on that?
Because even though she just disrespected my kids without even knowing them, um, the best I can do is just give her $100. That's how much.
Well, Alicia, we just heard Michelle say she's willing to give $100. I know you previously mentioned that money is not more of a concern to you anymore, but just you being compensated or reimbursed for your work. What does $100 sound like to you, and what else can you say about that?
I think it should be at least $150 for a rush job. Because I could stand my ground and say 450, but I'll do the 150. But I'm not doing $100 because I don't even charge that much for a rush job. A rush job is $150.
So, Michelle, Alicia's main concern is the fact that the rush job was just, it kind of bothers her in a sense that she had to do it for no reason when it shouldn't have been like that in the first place,
She worked twice as hard.
basically.
I mean, like I said before, just reflecting on what she said previously. Not so to speak money, but maybe is there any other way possible you think that you can reimburse Alicia because of her hard work of making 2 cakes?
Well, I'm not gonna take a picture. But what we can do, I can provide for you, is that I can maybe give you some business, maybe make you make your own money instead of me giving you it. I have a lot of clientele. I do work in the business. I have a lot of loyal customers and a lot of loyal people who always come to me about birthdays, engagements, anything like that. So maybe I can send them to you for their cakes, things like that. But that's setting aside the money. I'm just gonna give you the clientele.
So, Alicia, Michelle mentioned that she can provide clientele and sort of network, basically, instead of giving you money as an option. How do you feel about that?
I actually like that idea because business has been a little bit slow for me. So I think that, getting more clients in and making more cakes, whether it's for birthdays, engagement parties, whatever the case is, would really help. So I think that we could, make an arrangement to have that happen, where we could maybe, possibly like team up and work together and, come to a conclusion about that.
So it sounds like we've discussed the issues for tonight's mediation, and it seems like you guys may be ready to start considering options. I've already heard some options put on the table. Clientele sounds really good idea for Alicia, and it sounds like it's a better option for you than providing money. So before I go back to Alicia, just going back to you, Michelle, what is pretty much your thoughts on that?
No, I'm pretty excited for having that. Maybe an apology for criticizing my kids, know, the kids maybe got us mistakes.
I'm not so sure about the apology because I still haven't gotten an apology for the cake. So
So
So we'll be able to. So I'll apologize for my kids' behavior.
okay,
You
and
know,
I
they-
apologize for criticizing your children before I
alright, so sounds like we may have just come to an agreement. I can tell. Sounds great. Thank you guys for tonight's mediation, for both of you guys coming in and volunteering. And I hope this worked out for you guys. Alright?
Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss or anything, or that's it?
That's it.
Thanks for
great.
your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
How do I edit that out?